The big moment is finally here. Donald Trump is set to be sworn in for his second term as President of the United States in just a few hours from now. The ceremony begins at 12 p.m. Eastern Time inside the Capitol Rotunda. With security reinforced by 25,000 law enforcement personnel, Vice President-elect J.D. Vance will take the oath of office, administered by Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh. Chief Justice John Roberts will then swear in President-elect Donald Trump at noon, officially declaring him the 47th President of the United States of America. Washington, D.C. is buzzing with excitement. Supporters from across the nation gathered in Washington, D.C. on Sunday for his victory rally. Despite freezing weather, many people had arrived before sunset to try to get a seat at the Make America Great Again victory rally. Across the US-Mexico border, people are awaiting Trump's return, anticipating changes to immigration policies and better border conditions. The countdown to Trump's return to the White House is underway, promising a day filled with both anticipation and intensity.
He, Donald Trump, is going to protect our rights for being over there in the US. Because the violence is strong in San Diego and here too. But I live in the US the most.
Let them pull themselves together. Let them think that a little respect for us, for the US, as well as for us, the Mexicans.
You're now joined by Joachim Bitterlich, former German ambassador to NATO and former European diplomatic and security advisor to German Chancellor Helmut Kohl. Thank you for joining us for this conversation. Let me begin by asking that Trump says under his presidency, US will fundamentally rethink NATO's purpose and NATO's mission. So do you see a possibility in change in the NATO ties?
I think Trump was right from the beginning to tell to the Europeans that they have to take over a larger part of a burden of defense. I think the right percentage I have in mind is about 3% GDP for each and every one, a minima under the given conditions. And I think the Europeans will follow insofar Trump. What the Europeans do not hope is a larger withdrawal of the Americans from the European defense scene, because they are not prepared at that situation. Perhaps in 5 years, but for the moment, no. And therefore, the Europeans hope for an understanding debate with Donald Trump and a solution taken by both sides in agreement. That's the key.
Now, taking that forward, Trump vows to end the war in Ukraine. And how will Trump achieve a durable peace that preserves Ukrainian sovereignty? What can you tell us about that?
Well, foreign policy has not been in the foreground of Trump's election campaign about the whole debate in the US. They have been discussing about two subjects, jobs and inflation, and on the other hand, control of migration policies. Foreign policy is the number 3 subject, and the first one for Donald Trump will remain China. I think this will be his first and overall subject where Trump wants to be, let's say, controlling the subject. The second one will be the Middle East, and the third one only will be Ukraine. And I think he will need to explore the situation as it is. He will send his special envoy to the region to talk to the Russians, talk to the Ukrainians, and to see what are the possibilities. It will be not, in my eyes, a short-term solution. It will be not done in 24 hours, forget about. It will be more in the medium term to find, let's say, points where Ukrainians and Russians could meet for at least for a ceasefire, and in the light of a ceasefire, then to negotiate.
That's right. The world is closely watching the lead up to Trump administration 2.0. And thank you so much for joining us for this conversation and sharing your perspective with us.
Pleasure as always.